Okay, welcome. This is my first live streaming to multiple locations for the first time in a really long time. And I'm making a little bit of an announcement about a commitment that I'm making to myself and to Flow Network. And it's a bit of an experiment as well. I'm going to be going live at 7 o'clock PST every day indefinitely, at least for some time, at least until it feels alive and exciting, combining many of my passions together, namely, you've probably been seeing me talk about the gene keys for quite a while now. I have an image up on Flow Network for Instagram who might be watching, and the gene keys. So we have the gene keys as a passion, and then we have fascia, which is something I've been talking about more recently. And I'm seeing the beautiful connection of bringing them together and getting into our body and inspiring one another to live our passion or to find our passion depending on where we are in our journey. And the third component for me is video. Video is something that I've loved to do since I was a child. And when Facebook first started with video back in 2016, it was something that I used regularly doing the lives, and it's been a number of years since I've done that. So it's a rebirth, it's a coming back, and it's an experimentation. And something that I did about a year ago was I was contemplating the sun transit. So with through the lens of the gene keys. So every 6 days, we move through a different key. And you don't have to know anything about the gene keys to enjoy this. It's a contemplation. It's a way of bringing more awareness to our life, to our body, by looking at every 6 days we move through one of the 64 gene keys. So it takes us a year to go through all 64 basically. And it gives us a little bit of a pulse of the weather going on out there through what is broken down through the gene keys as either the shadow, the gift, or the city. So there's these three levels of consciousness. And the shadow describes a place where we might feel stuck, but it also describes a place where we can breathe deeper. The gift is a place where we can look at our genius and access creativity. And the city, the highest level, is a place where we can begin to embody what many are calling this future human. To be the future human is almost like our superpowers. Not almost, it is our superpowers. And one of the things I love about the fascia work and the company with which I was trained as a certified coach is that they are really pressing the edges for what it means to be human, as well as systems like the gene keys. And in the gene keys, Richard Rudd speaks about this mutation that is making waves through our world right now, where we're literally beginning to access more and more of our gifts. So for me, this is a really fun way of bringing intention to some of my gifts, and a way of building community and conversation around a theme. So each week we'll explore the gene key. So tomorrow will be the first day we're going to be exploring gene key 59 through the shadow, the gift, and the city. We'll briefly talk about it. And every gene key, if you're new to the gene keys, again, you don't have to know anything about the gene keys, but just for your reference, every gene key has a reference to a part of the body. So for example, gene key 10, the physiology is in the chest. So for the rest of the week, I'm going to do fascia maneuvers related to that body part. And this is an experiment. I see a deeper weaving that I haven't even touched yet about the connection with gene keys, which is, referencing our DNA and our specific imprint, how we have been, the landscape that we were born with. and how that ties in with our fascia. And I mean, the fascia connects every part of our body. So our DNA is wrapped in fascia. Our bones, our muscles, our organs is all carried in this fascia. And so by doing these maneuvers, we liberate these shadows or these blocks that we have in our body. So it's a way for me to play and to share some of these passions. I mean, the Gene Keys is a beautiful and growing system with a beautiful community that contemplate these Gene Keys, whether they are through the sun transits and the themes that are playing out in the weather, so to speak, out there in the world, or they're contemplating their specific profile, which you can, if you want to dive into the Gene Keys, you can look up for free on genekeys.com, and you can get your specific map of your journey through your life, through these different levels and layers of consciousness. And for example, you can look at what your life's work is and contemplate that through these different words of the shadow, the gift, and the city as they relate to your specific sphere of life's work, your evolution, what you're here to learn, what makes you healthy, your purpose, your attraction and the people that you attract into your life, the different wounds that might have been imprinted through your cycle of life. And it's a beautiful, beautiful companion to get to know ourselves better. And I absolutely love it. And the fascia work is similar in its way of removing these blocks that and these sticky spots. Like when we feel pain or discomfort in our body, it's a way to move within and listen to what it is sharing with us. And as we move and remove these blocks, we create more flow in our body, which then connects us deeper to our intuition, to our higher self, whatever language you want to use, and to each other. It introduces synchronicities, and of course that is the deepest part of the work that Richard Rudd in the Gene Keys. I have his new book here, Contemplation, and I just wanted to read one of the lines here because the contemplative way of living is such a beautiful, and I feel, as Richard Rudd states in this book, such an important it's an important art, as he calls it. It's an art to cultivate in our life, especially as we're moving into uncertain times. So the part that I wanted to read, and I'll finish with this, is that contemplation teaches us something different. It teaches us that the outer rests and relies upon the inner. We can have a perfect life on the outside but remain unhappy on the inside. And we can have very little on the outside but be joyous on the inside. The ultimate goal of contemplation is to bring both our inner and outer lives into balance. Then we can be inwardly fulfilled and outwardly content. Highly recommend this book, The Art of Contemplation, or his new book is Contemplation. It's incredible. All right, I think that's all I wanted to share. Just announcing that I'm going to be live at 7 a.m. tomorrow. We're going to talk about the current theme of Gene Key 52. And then the following days, we're going to do some simple movements in the morning. I'm going to try to keep these lives to 10 minutes or under. So it's not a huge commitment, but it's just a gentle check-in, and we'll see where it flows. So I hope to see you then or some other time. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on anything that I've discussed as well. See you tomorrow.